What's happening, guys? I'm going to do a repair on this free hub. It's on a non-branded hub, so it's not a Shimano. So the problem we've got is it's basically seized. So there's no movement in it at all, apart from it unwinding, which I've already undone. So to get it off, it's a simple 12mm Allen key. Like I say, I've loosened it already, and we simply unscrew, and that will remove it. These can be on really tight, to the point where they do snap on the thread. So let's open it up and have a look. Show you a couple of tools that you can use to open up the free hub. So originally I made this 22mm socket and two little notches left on. Took ages to do, and to be honest, it wasn't worth it, because it doesn't, it works but not great. This is one I ordered off eBay, $6.99. The notches are the exact right shape. So as you can see, the notches inside the free hub is what we've got to connect onto to unscrew it. That goes in there like that. And an axle in there, washer, we just wind that down. So with that in place, you can literally then put your free hub in the vise. No need to tighten it too much. And then, as I said, you turn it anti-clockwise. Sorry, you turn it clockwise to undo. There we go. As I say, I did pre-loosen it, because they are sometimes really tight. So that's undone now. I'll just pop you back over here. Right, so undo that a little bit. There you go, it's loosened. So we'll take this back off. Like I say, this bolt just stops the tool slipping. So for ones that are really tight, it does help. Right, so tool in, holding the bottom, because this is basically going to sort of all fall apart if you don't hold it, so just hold the bottom there, and we're going to turn clockwise to keep winding off that cup. So that, there you go, and then literally two fingers in, and and you get your cup out. I can see that the condition is really good. Where the bearing surface, it looks really good. Inside as well, all those bearings look in good condition. There's no rust in there. Right, so now I'm literally gonna put that on there like that and lift out. There we go. See what we got. Right, so in this free hub you've got 3 clutches. So you can see you got that one, and then the third one. And as you can see, there is our problem. Our clutch has literally broken off. Where's the other piece? There it is. There we go. Again, bearing surface is in good condition. So that is all that needs replacing on this free hub to get it back up and running. They are cheap to replace. I mean, that one was, this new one from China was about £7. But like I said, I like to take them apart, especially on one that I knew hadn't done many miles, just to see what had actually happened. And every free hub I get, I strip down and keep any spares. So in my little pot of spares here from other free hubs, I will have a clutch, here we go. There are slight differences from each free hub. Well, a common one is this one. I'm just going to check the width of it just to make sure it's the same. Both parts line up with that pretty well, as you can see. My camera skills are terrible. So this free hub is absolutely fine. All we got to do is simply put that clutch back in, the new one, or the used one. A little spring loaded clip here, and we'll put that inside. Don't usually see that clutch break like that. Not something you see all the time. Usually something else, like the clutches and the grease has gone like hard and it's holding the clutches back, which is stopping them engage inside there. But in this case it's just broken off. Okay. So with that new clutch in place, it's not actually springing out like the others. So what I'm going to do is just take it back out and compare it with one that ain't broke. bit of metal there as well from the old clutch. To be fair, it looks exactly the same. Right, so this spring here, this locks all the clutches in place, and if it is misshaped like this one, as you can see, it's not quite circular. So when the clutch has broke down, it's done some damage to that, so that's what we need to change as well. And here we have, in my spares, so that's why I always keep these spares. So I love fixing free hubs. I know they're cheap, but to get something fixed, there's satisfaction about fixing it and getting it working again. There we go, one from an old one, another one. So you could see what was happening, just the clutches wasn't sort of springing back, and if they're not springing back, they're not going to engage, and you're just going to have a slipping cassette. So let's put this on first. Now this does only go on in one position, and you'll see you'll have a wider gap, a wider gap, a wider gap, and then a little gap, and that's where you're going to have your little L-shape side of the spring attached. So with that in place, I'm going to now put a clutch in. There's various ways of doing this, but I always seem to do it this way, and I'll get there in the end. So there's one clutch in. As you can see, the spring on that spring back is already so much better. Next one. There we go. And number 3, our spare, a salvaged one. There we go. So as you can see, we've got that L shape spring in its correct position, so that can't move around. And look at the shape of that. Look at the clutches. You can see that they're all now protruding quite well, springing back, which is what it wasn't doing before. So if we put the carrier back on just momentarily, just to listen to that healthy click, we know that all those clutches there are engaging properly. So that is that. We can reuse this, we can rebuild it, and the new one I bought we can keep as a spare for another bike. So putting it back together is very simple. A little rubber at the bottom, just to keep any crap from entering inside the free hub and breaking down the bearings. Now what I do at this point is I put all my bearings around the cone, so you can, if you do clean it, it's obviously advisable just to clean it all, just to make sure there's no debris. What you can use on the little cone surface to put your bearings on around here is a little bit of grease. You don't want any grease on these clutches, preferably oil. Like I say, with the grease it'll stop them springing back, and over time just start clogging them up, and they won't sort of operate properly. So you can oil the clutches, but the bearings need the grease. So there's a lot of oil, grease already on the cone there, so I'm just going to go around and put my bearings back on. All the way around. I'm just going to put a little bit of grease around that cone. The clutches are already nice and oiled, so I'm not going to add anything to that. Some people completely dry them just to get that loud clicky noise, which is fun, but then again your clutches are going to wear out really quick. And I mean quick. So just a little bit of grease on around the cone, your bearings don't come off. So you're going to do all that all the way around. And there we have it. 3 little washers, thinnest one at the top. We'll put those on. You can put a bit of grease around the cone on the carrier if you like. I'm not going to overdo it. Now when I attach the carrier, I'm just going to turn clockwise on the carrier just to allow the clutches to spin round and slot in, and there we go. That is all in place. So that's the lower bearings put on. Now for the bearings inside, you got 2 choices. You can grease this cone and put your bearings on this cone here, and then when you screw it down it's all going to lock all the bearings in place. But I've usually just put my bearings inside the carrier. Had less issues with doing it that way, just simply dropping those in. There is plenty of grease inside that cone bearing surface. So as these bearings are falling in, they're just slotted into place. No need to overcomplicate it, just put them in. Right, so all those bearings in place. We're now going to get our cup, holding the bottom of the thread. Just put that in there. with our tool. I'm going to turn it clockwise just to find the thread, and then anti-clockwise, screwing that down. $12mm on the bottom of the frill. Put the adjustable on there. And just nip that up slightly. You don't have to overdo it. Right. You'll know if everything's gone together properly because you'll have that sort of clicking noise. If your bearings, sometimes when you're screwing down the car, one of the bearings can sort of go out of place, and then it'll just lock up, and that's it. Absolutely sound. So yeah, there is that issue. Dodgy spring and a failed clutch. That's all it was. No other issues in there at all. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful in some way, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.